Okay, let's continue. So the second part of the lecture is selling debts and selling receivables. So there are two reasons why the companies want to sell their debts to someone else instead of collecting themselves. First of all, because it's time consuming and it is a headache to collect the debt yourself, especially if you do not know how to do it. Most companies, it's a very special area of knowledge, collecting the debts. You need to employ the lawyers. It's a legal issue, and many companies they simply do not know how to do it. So if they try to collect debts themselves, it will take a lot of time, and perhaps there'll be no success. And secondly, the major reason why we want to sell the debts because we want to get cash as quick as possible. We just studied the cash to cash cycle, and so it may happen that the clients are supposed to pay only 3 months from now, but you need to have cash tomorrow because you have some liabilities to settle. So that's why you will try to sell your debts today, and by tomorrow you will have money and pay these liabilities instead of waiting for 3 months until your client pays you on your accounts receivable. So there are two methods of collecting of selling the debts. So sale of receivables and credit card sales. So let's talk about sale of receivables. There are two methods here when you sell the receivables. The first method is discounting. The second method is factoring. Let's start with factoring. So you will sell your debts to the factor, and it will be responsibility of the factor to collect these debts. No longer your responsibility. You will get the cash. Of course, you will have to pay some service fee to the factor. Factor is usually the bank or some other financial company. So this is perhaps the easiest way. More complicated way is discounting. So you are still responsible for collecting your receivables, for collecting your debts, but in the meantime, before you are able to collect them, you will get the loan from the bank. And then you will pay, once you get your receivables, you will pay back the loan. So it is like collection of the debt intertwined with the loan from the finance company, from the bank. And of course, with discounting, it will be your responsibility to collect the debts. And it may happen that you got the loan from the bank, you're responsible for collecting the debts, you're not able to collect your debts, and it means you're not able to pay back the loan. Then you're putting yourself into trouble. Let's start with factoring. What are the journal entries here with factoring? So, the interest charge, the factor charges 8% for buying the receivables from you, from buying your debts. And the value of your receivables is 9,775, including GST. So as soon as you provide the service or sell the good, you recognize the revenue, so it would be credit service revenue, and since it is on account, it's not cash, but it's accounts receivable, so asset, debit accounts receivable. The actual value of service revenue is smaller than accounts receivable because there is GST. This GST is obtained by multiplying 9775 times 3/23, and service revenue is obtained by dividing 9775 by 1.15, 15% GST. Then, as a second step, you decide not to collect that yourself, but to sell receivables to Finance Ltd, to the factor, to the bank. So, you no longer have receivables, they're nullified, you will get the cash. The value of cash would of course be smaller by 8% because 8% is the service charge. So you can multiply 9775 by 0.92 and you will get 8993, or you can multiply 9775 by 0.08 and you will get 782. That would be the value of the service charge expense, but it is inclusive of GST, so 782 can be multiplied by 3/23 and you will get the value of GST, or 782 may be divided by 1.15 and you will get 680. And of course, there will be two GSTs, two sides of the GST clearing. So here, if you receive the revenue, GST is your liability to be transferred to the tax authorities, but here it is a service charge expense, so GST is your asset, and therefore it is debit side the asset. Now with discounting. So again, you record the service revenue. In our case, the value of accounts receivable 11,500 times 3/23, and you will get the value of GST, or 11,500 divided by 1.15, and it would be 10,000. So the actual service revenue that you earn is smaller than accounts receivable. After that, you will get the advance, the loan from Finance Ltd. So once you get the loan, you get the cash, and it is debited against the credit in accounts payable. So in a similar fashion, if it is a 10% advance, so 10% out of 11,500 would be 1,000 plus 1,150. And then you can split 1,150 into the actual service charge expense and into GST clearing. So remember that it looks like that it is a loan from the bank, and we know that there is no GST on interest or on any loans. But let's consider it not as a typical that this service charge expense is not an interest, but more like a fee. So therefore, in this case, we will be able to have GST attached. So please fix here this word, it's misspelled, it is interest. And then, after we got the loan, we wait for the client to pay on the account. And of course, accounts receivable would be reduced, and we will get the cash. And after that, we will use that cash to pay the loan to the bank. So here it is the receipt of the money from the client, so cash against accounts receivable. And here we are using that cash to pay the loan and to get rid of our liability. And of course, here when we got the loan from the Finance Ltd, from the bank, we got cash and we assumed liability. Liability is credit accounts payable. Okay, and then the credit card sales, the second method of dealing with your receivables and debts. So here there will be three parties involved: your business, the customer, and the bank, the issuer of the credit cards. So credit card sales will allow business to receive cash from the sale, while the customer will be incurring debt to the credit card issuer. Of course, for the credit card services, the bank will charge the fee in a similar way as a discounter or factor. So let's look at the example. So the company will provide the services, will accept credit cards. The bank, the intermediary, will charge 3% on credit card transactions. So the value of services sold 3,565, and the client will pay using credit card issued by the bank. So we'll record the service revenue as usual. So we debit bank, but the actual revenue is smaller because of the value of GST. So 3,565 times 3/23, you get this value, or 3,565 divided by 1.15, you get 3,100. And then also you need to pay the service charge. We need to record the service charge expense from the bank. It is 3% on 3,565. So it would be equal to $106.95. And that's the money that we pay, and we simultaneously recognize expense. Therefore, it is a debit service charge expense. But again, this value, $106.95, is inclusive GST. So you need to split it into actual expense and into GST in a similar way. 106.95 times 3/23 is 13.95, or 106.95 divided by 1.15 is 93. Alternatively, if there is no, and of course, so if you have revenue, if you earn the revenue, then GST is your liability payable to tax authorities, and if you incur expense, then GST is your asset claimable from the tax authorities. If you operate in the country where there is no GST, then you can combine these two entries, and in this case the recording would be debit cash, credit revenue, and debit service charge expense, equal to 3% of your revenue, right? So your cash that you will receive will be smaller than the revenue that you earned by the value by 3% of the service charge expense. Also, please note that yesterday we talked about inventories and inventory transactions. They did not include GST. Whereas now we talk about accounts receivable, and GST is involved everywhere. Discounts and factoring and credit card sales. So let's do like that in the test as well. So the question on inventory will not include any GST, but the question on factoring or discounting or various discounts will include GST. So please note. I will write, of course, the explanation when you need to consider GST and when not, but for now on, just remember that accounts receivable topic, we include GST. Inventories, we do not. So let's stop for a moment. There will be part 3 about uncollectible bad debts. Thank you.